Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dennis Akizuki. I'll be your chairperson for this Hatsubon Service. So just a week ago, it was so busy outside, thousands of people, games and food and everything. And I think one thing we shouldn't let that overshadow is the purpose of, or the importance of Obon to Shin Buddhists like ourselves, right? It's to remember with gratitude those who have passed on before us. Remembering everything that they've done for us to make us the people we are today, to enjoy the kind of life that we enjoy today. Not only for ourselves individually, but as a Sangha, as a community, people who have done, who built this temple, built the annex, did all the things that was necessary to keep the temple alive and vibrant. We're going to begin with this service with the sutra chanting Sambujo and Busetsu Amida Kyo. During Busetsu Amida Kyo, names will be called for Oshoko and candle lighting. So members of each, as the names are called, the families can come up, do Oshoko. One member of the family will be giving a candle, and you will place that in front of the homyo card of your family member. So you should all have homyo cards at home too. So there's two copies made. And for those you didn't know, there's actually a record of this that goes to the Buddhist Churches of America headquarters in San Francisco, and also a copy of this information about your loved one goes to Nishi Honganji in Kyoto. So that is something that is done all the time. And if you've ever been to Kyoto, there's a huge BCA, not BCA, Nishi Honganji mausoleum that has sections for all of the foreign districts, including the United States. And so there are sometimes a group of us went to the BWA conference in Japan last year, and we went to that mausoleum. We actually had a service for all of the members of San Jose Betsuin who've passed on before us. So anyway, so again, sutra chanting Sambujo, Busetsu Amida Kyo. You'll hear the names being read. Come up, Oshoko, get the candle and put it under the homyo card of your loved one. Thank you.
learn the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. It's on. Can you hear it? It's on. No.
正幸岡部匠武田ジェリー西田ドロティ淵上ケリー松田シェリー・ボンゴマツコ西松マーガレット藤本トーマス柿波デネス・ミトメ貞子池田カロリン松井陸奥坂本末尾山熊リタ橋本貞江達川フィリップ・コンド 清治大畑武市市川安子中村栄子山一テリー大木メリー山本別須貝正宗花本ケリー島根ペニ森本ジョー森本スカッ小橋 サンディ末川吉見村山丸山Sorry. フィリス米田キミコ伊藤ベリジーン東シューリー岡部ドロティ佐藤坂尾ジャック宮原Richard Venters Matilda Maeda Toshiko Kogura Curtis Ota Jean Hiraishi Hisako Mukai. If I've inadvertently missed anybody. Huh? Oh. Takeshi Kuritsubo. If I've missed anybody, or if there's someone that has not been called, please come forward at this time.
Please rise now. We're going to have a reading of the three treasures, which is in your program on the back side, the back page, led by Rinman Sakamoto, and then followed by Rinman Sakamoto introducing our guest speaker.
Please rise. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you. Please be seated. This afternoon we have our special guest speaker for today's Hatsubon service. Many of you may know him from his previous life, but after completing his career, he became a student. Well, he was a long time a student of Buddhism, but pursued his ordination first with completing his studies at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and then going to Kyoto to complete his ordination. After his return, he was assigned to the San Diego Buddhist temple, where he served and developed programs there that are now being propagated throughout the BCA. We're fortunate to have him return to our community here in San Jose and to share his understanding and appreciation of the Buddha Dharma. At this time, I'd like to ask Akoishi Sensei to please come to the podium.
Good afternoon. I should start off with an apology that I got a COVID booster shot yesterday. Felt fine. Karen slept a lot. This morning I've been sleeping for most of today. So hopefully I can get through this without falling asleep and perhaps not making you fall asleep also. So I'd like to first start off by thanking Reverend Sakamoto for this invitation and this opportunity to speak to the hometown crowd. I know many of you here. And as you may know, this Hatsubon Service marks the first Obon service after the passing of a loved one. And one of the reasons is that this is so important is that the loss of a loved one is still fresh in our memory, and the grief is still there, the loss. And so this is a time that we're really open to hear the words of the Buddha, wisdom and compassion. And we might be seeking, really, what is the meaning of life and death? Now, this Hatsubon service is also one that I'm observing from my cousin, Shigemi, who passed away in Los Angeles a few months ago. And the significance is that she was the oldest of the cousins, and now, all our uncles and aunties are gone, and now we're the next level. So we start to think about what life is really about. And this is what this occasion is about, that when we do lose someone, we reflect on our own lives and wonder, what is this? And what does the Buddha tell us about this? Now, these services are not for those who have passed on. They're really for us, those of us who are left behind. And this is where we're ready to hear the words of the Buddha. And so please, can you join me as I read some words from Shindan? Please join me in Gassho. How joyous I am, Gutoku Shinran, entrusting myself to the teaching, practice, realization that are the true essence of the Pure Land Way. Here I rejoice in what I have heard and extol what I have received. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Now, Shinran is joyous because he says this practice, the Shin practice, wakes him up. And it wakes him up to what is true and real. And so what is Shinran? What is the practice in Shin Buddhism? He says, again, solely saying the Buddha's name constantly, one should respond with gratitude to the universal vow of great compassion. Well, unfortunately, Buddhism is sometimes hard to understand in America because of a couple of things. One, of course, is the cultural difference. We're in a Western democracy quite different than what occurs in the East. And the other thing is the difference of time period. The time of the Buddha, of course, about 2,600 years ago, and even Shinran lived 800 years ago. And so some of these things that were told at the time are difficult to understand now. And so my intention today, and what I've been doing for most of my ministerial career, is to talk about Shin Buddhism in modern terms, a contemporary view. And what we find is that as we humans discover more, we learn truth at a deeper level. And that's what I'll try to share with you, that truth is a big thing. And so I've just, for our purposes, just kind of break it down to two levels. there's a practical level which we kind of live all the time. And you can think about this as the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, and that's practical. All our commerce, all of the world's life revolves around that. And yet there's a deeper truth, because we're not, the sun is not revolving around us. We're revolving around the sun. And that's true, and that allows us to have internet, Zoom, cell phones, and so forth. And so there are these two levels of truth. And I think we'll find that true as we talk about Buddhism. Now, at the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, when he searched for the reasons for sickness, old age, and death, he didn't rely on, relying on just gods that, determined this. That was at the time, and that's still true today with some religions. That we just, the unknowns, we have volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, and so forth, and human tragedies. Well, it must be, if we didn't know, some god caused that. The Buddha was different. He based it on natural functions of the earth. And so what we know in Buddhism is that these are things we can observe and test out for ourselves. And this is why Buddhism can stay current in all times. Now, the Buddha said he was not a god when a person asked him right after his enlightenment. He said he was awake, and what he was awake to was truth. And so the truth is what is true in nature. He said that, as Amida, and he pointed out these things, Amida Buddha that we talk about is life energy, light and life. And I'll explain this in a bit. Now, it's really not, in Buddhism, it's not that we're directing the outside world for our pleasure, the way we want things to work. It's how we respond to things. So the world is happening all around, and what we're doing in Buddhism is developing our mind so that we can align with the way truth happens. Now, think of it this way. If we're in an ocean, and the ocean represents truth, we go down and we're in a submarine, and we say, oh, there's truth. We have a porthole in front, so we think, I think I know what truth is about. We'll investigate what that is. And that's what oftentimes we hear people say that they can understand truth because they have this one porthole seeing what the ocean of truth is about. In Shin Buddhism, we're a little different. We look out a back porthole. And what we're doing is seeing, how did we get here? And we see that we got here because we have received so much more from the efforts of others. And that's why we're here. We look back and we see that we're here only because of the efforts of others, especially those loved ones who cared for us. And we like to think of what we received from them. Instead of going forward and thinking, what can I achieve, we really realize that most of our lives have been about receiving, and this is what Shinran emphasizes. And this is why in Shin Buddhism we don't have a practice to gain anything, to achieve anything. It's a practice to realize what we have already received. And the way we realize this is by reciting the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. And it's a way of expressing gratitude, realizing that we're receiving all this and expressing our gratitude for it. Now, we realize that we received this, and this poem by Mitsuo Aida kind of explains things a little more clearly. He says, my father and mother, altogether 2. Parents of my father and mother, altogether 4. If I count in this way back 10 generations, altogether 1,024. What about back 20 generations? To my surprise, over 1 million people. From the infinite past, the life relay baton has passed on. Here now, I live with my baton. This is your life, this is my life. And so the question is, what do we do with our life baton? I like math, so I have a calculator, so I went a little further. 500 years or 20 generations might be, or 10 generations would be, 20 generations would be about 500 years, the time of Renyo, who's depicted on the left there. If we went back 30 generations, that would be about 800 years at the time of Shinran. And the number of ancestors we would have would be 1 billion. Now, there are apparently 8 billion people on the earth right now. So it took 1/8 of the world's population to create each one of us. Now, this is what Buddhism looks at. And there's another thing scientifically that biology tells us, that it takes about 10 million sperm to create, impregnate one ovum. And, relatively speaking, it travels about the distance of a marathon. It's so small. Now, what happens when that second sperm hits that egg? Nothing. One sperm made each of us. So each of us has a failed twin, someone that has never been able to live life. And we go through and we monku about this and that. And yet think about that failed twin who never had the opportunity to have the joys and also the grief that we've enjoyed. But again, this is, you could say from a scientific point of view, what we're about. And the Buddha explained things at the time in terms of, mythology or even gods to represent, because that's how people understood things at the time. But if we look at things from our modern point of view, we realize here, Shinran says again, how joyous I am, Gutoku Shinran, realized in the true essence of the Pure Land Way. Here I rejoice in what I have heard and extol what I have received. So we have received life. We didn't go out and achieve it. We got that. And the way we get it is, the Buddha explained things this way. 2,600 years ago, the Buddha said that, looking at all of life, he said that, everything is impermanent, right? Everything changes, and we could see that. But he also said everything is interconnected, interdependent, which means that we're all connected, we're not separate. And so what he's telling us is that this impermanence makes us fear death. We're not going to be here. But this interdependence means that we're all connected. And then this word that we sometimes use in Buddhism, anatma, no self, means that there's no separate self. We're all connected. I think in our population we always find out that we're related somehow to someone or another. Well, we've been to weddings and see someone, and why are you here? And then we find out we're not related because people get married. But anyway, and you can't talk bad about anyone because they're related to someone else. So, but we are all related, regardless of our ethnicity. And so the Buddha talked about that, 2,600 years ago. Things are impermanent, they change, and we're all connected. Now, why do things change? Now, he didn't answer it at the time because I don't think people could understand it. But about 100 years ago, a man named Einstein had this theory, which we still hold true. Everything has two forms. He called it mass and energy. And that it's energy that causes change. And what happens with mass is that, it's kind of solid, we see that. But there's energy, and it changes. And it's this energy that really animates mass. That may sound a little complicated. I'll go on here and explain it in a little more detail. But how did the Buddha describe energy? He said, in Sanskrit, amitayus, that's life, and amitabha, light, life and light. And the Japanese combine those two words and are using the word amida. And we know light and life. We have flowers and candles, always symbolizing Amida Buddha. So again, there's a human representation of this energy, light and life. But it's also, we use the 6 Chinese characters, Namo Amida Butsu. But Amida, in our minds, and as humans, we tend to regard things within, theistic terms. But what he's talking about is energy, light energy, life energy. And then this Einstein says, this energy animates things. And we also call this light and life wisdom and compassion, because those are words that we can relate to. And we sometimes relate that to a mother's love, Oya-sama, mother's compassion. So it's this life energy that animates our bodies. And this is what we've come here today to honor. Parents, grandparents, loved ones who gave us this light and life. We have these bodies that are impermanent, but something continues, light and life. Now, as humans, we have mass and energy, and we call it body and spirit. And that, to explain this a little more clearly, with a mass, let's say we burn a tree limb. What do we get? Energy, light, and heat. And where did that come from? Well, a tree seed takes in energy in the form of water, nutrients, sun, carbon dioxide, and it grows. So a seed becomes a little sapling and eventually grows to a big tree. And so when we burn a limb, it releases that energy in the form of light and life. Well, how about us humans? We have babies, and what do babies do? They receive, they take in nutrients from milk, water, sun, all of this from parents. And so children grow. They're always growing, and it kind of scares me when the Dharma school kids that I used to teach are now bringing their own kids here to Dharma school, which means I've grown a little too. But so we see that they take in this energy. But as humans, there are more things besides the physical things. We take in information. We take in feelings, education, language, and thoughts. And our bodies and minds grow. But we've received all this from our loved ones. And right now, we're exchanging energy right now. As I talk and spew out some words, you have images in your mind. So this is life energy. And we do that right now. And it continues after, our physical bodies may depart. So the Buddha has told us that when we are attached or spend a lot of energy, and this is what our society tells us, you got to, look better and all this. We spend all our money, all the commercials are focused on the body. And we hear that greed, ignorance, hatred, all attention on the body causes these problems. And the alternative is this interconnection, that the more time we spend on each other, the more we can feel comfortable about our bliss. And that is a truth, that we are more of this connection than we are bodies. When we play sports or whatever, we're not, our bodies are not exchanging mass, we're exchanging energy, whether it's football or any sport or dancing. And so it's this energy. And so he's talking about, the energy connects us and to spend time in that. And so the reason we're here to hear the words of the Buddha are special, especially in Jodo Shinshu, because I don't know of other religions that have so much that validate our connection, especially with those who have passed. And you may take this casually, but when you think about it, we have this Obon once a year. We have these things, and with the Obon Odori and the festival, we remember our times when, we were here with our families. We don't have this in San Jose, but Shotsuki is once a month. People who passed away in the month of July, there was a service in many BCA temples for people who passed away in that month. And then we have these yearly things, first year, third year, 7th, 13th, and so forth. Why do we have all these services? And why do people go to grave sites with flowers and no kotsudo? That's because we stay connected. You know, this is not just something we do ritually. We are making real what we know, that there is spirit that connects us all, and we keep that alive. Now, whether that continues with our children kind of depends on whether they're here or not. But Shin Buddhism especially focuses on this truth, that it's this life energy that connects us. And that the more we spend on this togetherness, on our interactions with each other, the closer we are to truth. The more we spend on our individual bodies, brings us more suffering. And so we do that. We clean graves. We come to services when noted times of the year. We have flowers, and it reminds us. But we don't just need these physical things. We have the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, which means we can connect at any time. It's something that doesn't require something physical. We can be connected at any time to anyone who's passed on. And we realize and we express our gratitude for the things that they have done for us. And so we see that these are natural laws that we have in Buddhism. That yes, it's been taught for thousands and hundreds of years in mythology and ways, and we do have bodhisattvas and Buddhist images in the human form. But you see, what he's really talking about is these things represent life energy, Amida, light and life. And so if you're still unclear on this, just think, and I have suggestions that we do, everything that is in life, you go through the day saying thank you. And if you can think of your grandparents, they were grateful for everything. Shin Buddhism, when you see the BCA logo, it says a life of gratitude. And this is because we're not looking at what we don't have, we appreciate what we do have. And in all the conditions that we experience, we realize that we have much more than what we could achieve ourselves. But we have been granted these gifts, and for that we say thank you. I'll end with a few thoughts. When my parents passed away, it was kind of natural for me to see them in Amida Buddha. But when my son Kirk passed away, it was harder. And but I realized that it's hard to see Kirk in the Buddha, but actually I shifted, and I had the Buddha in Kirk. And so this is what we might think of. It's not just a statue. It is our loved ones, our parents. I'll close with a poem that was written, and I think the Japanese have made a song of it. And I think the reason it resonates is that it reflects the Japanese mindset. And that is because I think Japanese culture has been framed by Buddhist thought. And that these thoughts, I think, are influenced, and I think you'll get this situation here. And the poem and the song is called A Thousand Breezes, Sen no Kaze. And so let me read you the words. A thousand breezes. Don't cry before my grave. I am not sleeping there for eternity. Look, I have become 1,000 breezes circling the world, sparkling like diamonds in the clouds, and pouring light on nourishing grains with gentle autumn showers. Look again, I have become 1,000 breezes circling the world. When you wake in the morning, I become a bird flying all around you, and at night, a shining star. You are always enveloped by innumerable forms of life, So don't cry for me. Don't cry before my grave. I have become 1,000 breezes constantly by your side. And so at our funerals, you'll hear some of the passages that say we return to our original nature. And that original nature is this life energy that has gone on, and we have of course, the myth or the story of Dhammakaya coming from an unknown past. But somehow, because of life and light, we receive this and we pass this on. And so as Shin Buddhists, again, it's not practicing to achieve any form of awakening. It is to realize that we've been receiving all this, and we acknowledge that, again, by saying thank you, by saying Namo Amida Butsu. And so this helps us with everything in daily life when we see that, there's no place we have to achieve, that everything has been given to us. And so we join that circle and we serve others. And as you look about the activities of the temple, it's about serving others. We have all these activities with children, the YBA, Dharma School, and so forth, collections for charities, always serving others. And so it is this life where we actually, this Obon season that we just had, all the work that went into it. And no one's gained any personal monetary gain, but it is also for the group. And so, again, this is something that is true. I've written a book with these contemporary thoughts. I'm not sure when it will get published, but if you're interested in this sort of thing, I'll be in Hawaii in August for about 20 days. I'm talking about 18 different places. But the Betsuin, the Hawaiian Betsuin is recording 5 classes, and I think it'll be on the Hawaii Betsuin website on their YouTube. It's about 10 hours of things, but I give detail more about the rationale and details of some of these thoughts that I've given. So again, this Hatsubon Service, the Obon dance, the Nembutsu is our grateful acknowledgement to all those people who have passed on this past year and in years past, and that we're always reminded that we're connected, and all we need to do is respond by, of course, the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, being in oneness with light and life, our life energy. So please join me in expressing our deepest appreciation to all those who have passed on, who have given us so much. Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Akahoji Sensei. So maybe go outside, feel the breeze. Remember those connections. Remember people who have passed on before us and all that they've given to us. At this time, please rise for the singing of Ondok-san 2. I think it's on page 73 in the small service book.
76.
76?
Pretty sure 76.
76?
76.
76.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Any announcements? Got a couple announcements. Okay, so if you're interested in the rummage sale, our Adult Buddhist Association has a rummage sale every year. It's 2 weeks from today. If you have things that you'd like to donate, you can bring them the Thursday and Friday before that, which would be August 1st and 2nd, from 9 to 3 or 4, 9 to 7. So there's plenty of time for you to bring whatever you want to bring and donate. If you've never been to the rummage sale, you should check it out. It's quite amazing. We also have a fundraiser. We've been doing a series of fundraisers for the Lahaina Honganji, which was destroyed in the Maui fires. And you could come to the office and buy them. It's a plate lunch, and it's $20. The deadline's tomorrow. So again, we've been doing this. I think this is the third one we've done, and we'll continue to do that because it's a very, very long road ahead for them to recover from the fires, and we want to help them as much as we can. This will conclude today's Hatsubon service. Thank you all for coming and participating. Drive home safely. Thank you very much. If you want to come up and do a shoko again, please do so.